Welcome to stage 14 of La Vuelta 22. We're heading into a decisive weekend in the mountains with two summit finishes that could shape the outcome of this 77th edition. Today's final climb is in two parts with a gruelling finish on La Pandera, a perfect playground for the climbers and GC contenders.
These next 2 days are going to well and clearly show where more or less you're going to finish in La Vuelta, I hope. So hopefully have some nice days, and then we just see more or less from there. I mean, I don't think a top 10 and overall in La Vuelta España is a bad thing, you know.
Si puedo ganar una etapa más sería genial para mí, sobre todo para el equipo, y bueno, pues si no se da, oye, tengo la oportunidad de ayudar a mis compañeros que están en una muy buena posición.
La Pandera last featured on La Vuelta in 2017 when Rafael Majka took stage honours and Chris Froome went on to win the race.
I can remember defending the red jersey at that time. I mean, it's a tough climb, there's no doubt about it. I think Remco's definitely got the condition and the legs to win. I mean, he hasn't proven himself over 3 weeks yet, but the way he looks in the time trials, the way he looks in the climbs, I mean, it's his race to lose at the moment.
It's a really hard climb. It has some, the percentages are also really high, so yeah, it's steep and small climb, hard. Yeah, like every climb here in the Vuelta actually. I think today I will try to fight with the best today with the GC guys, and we'll see after the stage how I am.
Stage 14 is a fairly short one of 160 kilometres starting in Montoro, and there's bound to be a big fight for the breakaway in the flat early section. After a first Category 3 climb, they'll hit the base of Los Vilares, which leads directly onto La Pandera. The final climb is 8.4 kilometres at 7.8%, which is bound to shake things up in the general classification. Well, it took around 65 kilometres for a breakaway to form, with the riders hurtling through the first 2 hours of racing at high speed, almost 47 kilometres an hour. Eventually, 10 riders managed to squeeze out a small gap, with stage winners Richard Carapaz and Mads Pedersen getting into the move. They were joined by experienced riders like Luis Leon Sanchez, Alexei Lutsenko, Kenny Elissonde and Bruno Armirail, as well as young talents Clément Champoussin, Filippo Conca, Raúl Garcia and Marco Brenner. A strong breakaway indeed. Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl were pacing the peloton for Remco Evenepoel, keeping the gap at between 3 and 4 minutes. The closest on GC up front was Carapaz, almost 15 minutes off the pace. The break working well together on the first climb of the day. They knew they would need a decent gap to have any chance of getting the stage victory. Carapaz first to the summit, picking up 3 King of the Mountains points. Now, one man with fond memories of La Pandera is Alejandro Valverde. He took the second of his 12 Vuelta stage wins on the climb, all the way back in 2003.
Recuerdo muy bueno, era mi segunda Vuelta a España y con 23 años ganar aquí la Pandera pues fue muy bonito. Ha sido una subida totalmente para atacar. Para atacar es muy dura, la etapa es dura, etapa 14, y creo que hoy puede ser un día importante. Enrique está bien, es una subida que le viene muy bien, el porcentaje es muy importante y lo puede hacer bien.
The intermediate sprint came with 33k to go, and surprisingly the break were happy to let Mads Pedersen roll through and take maximum points. The Dane increasing his lead to 171. He is on superb form at the moment, but he won't be going to Australia for the World Championships later this month. Raúl Garcia will also have heard stories of La Pandera. His father Felix came 7th on the climb when it first featured at La Vuelta back in 2002 and went on to finish 8th overall. As the Puerto de los Vilares loomed into view, Pedersen sat up. The rest of the breakaway preparing for 20 kilometres of climbing with a lead of 3.5 minutes. The first man to put in a dig from the front group was Lutsenko, who's in his 4th breakaway of this Vuelta. Sanchez was quickly onto the Kazakh's wheel. They were joined by Carapaz, Champoussin and then Conca. But eventually the group reformed with only Brenner dropped. The next man to attack was Sanchez, who has never won an individual stage of his home Grand Tour. The Spaniard was solo at the summit with a lead of around 15 seconds, but he soon had company in the shape of Carapaz as they embarked on La Pandera. With 5.5 kilometres to go, Conca and Champoussin had caught up again, while the peloton had closed to within a minute and a half. The battle for stage honours hotting up nicely. Primož Roglič then attacked with 4 kilometres to go. Evenepoel just trying to work his way back to the Slovenian's wheel, but suddenly he didn't have the legs.
He looks around for the first time to ask for some help, and there's no help coming because Mas shakes his head. Roglič is cruising away.
Evenepoel losing ground on Roglič, who was joined by Enric Mas and Miguel Angel Lopez, but Mas was then dropped. Meanwhile, Carapaz had gone solo at the front, hunting his second stage victory in the space of just 3 days. Roglič and Lopez were closing fast though, getting to within 10 seconds at the Flamme Rouge. Could the Ecuadorian hold on, and what would the time gaps be at the finish?
Look at him go. It's going to be Carapaz who's going to win today's stage to Sierra de la Pandera, and he's left an absolutely chaotic Vuelta behind him. Here he comes, doubling up, riding for Ineos Grenadiers. Richard Carapaz wins again in La Vuelta.
After winning on Peñas Blancas on Thursday, Carapaz does it again on Saturday with an even more prestigious win on La Pandera. He may now be eyeing up a tilt at the polka dot jersey. The other big winner today was Primož Roglič, whose bid to land a 4th straight Vuelta is still very much alive. Evenepoel showing his first signs of weakness. Can the overall leader hit back tomorrow in the Sierra Nevada?
Hoy sabíamos que era una etapa bastante importante para nosotros y bueno, al final conocía la subida muy bien, entonces pues bueno, intenté subir a mi ritmo, sin desesperarme porque sabía que era muy complicada, ¿no? Y al final pues, oye, ha sido una etapa bastante importante para mi palmarés, para mí, sobre todo con mucha moral para irme de aquí de esta vuelta.
You wait 5 years for a Vuelta stage win, then 2 come along at once. Carapaz winning by just 8 seconds from Lopez and Roglič, followed by Almeida, Rodriguez and Mas. Evenepoel was 8th at 56 seconds.
It wasn't my best day for sure. I didn't have the best legs. I couldn't accelerate when Roglič went. So yeah, still 150 ahead in GC. So nothing to really panic about. Just try to recover as much as possible and survive tomorrow.
The Belgian nevertheless limiting his losses. He remains 1 minute and 49 seconds clear of Roglič overall, with Mas at 2 minutes and 43. Pedersen's running away with the green jersey competition. Roglič is now second, level on points with Marc Soler and Fred Wright. Jay Vine remains on top in the mountains classification, but he's only 14 points clear of his fellow double stage winner Carapaz. Evenepoel lost 20 seconds to Rodriguez today, but he still has a handsome margin in the youth classification, 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Before the final rest day, stage 15 is a big one, a brutal mountain stage finishing in the Sierra Nevada at over 2,500 metres. Roglič and the rest will be looking for more chinks in Evenepoel's armour on the Hoya de la Mora, over 19 kilometres at almost 8%. This Vuelta isn't over just yet.